Welcome back. Now, the Nigeria Prize for Literature takes pride in its goal of bringing Nigerian authors to public attention and celebrating excellence in the literary sphere of the nation. Now, over the years, it's been known to recognize some of the best minds in Nigerian literature, and this year is no different. This morning, I have here with me Ogaga Ifowodo, Tanure Ojaide, and of course, Ikyogo Oke. They are the three finalists of the NLNG Prize for Literature this year. Thank you so much for joining us. When I said the Prize for Literature, I guess maybe some people wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but it's $100,000. And with the change in the dollar rates recently, that's about 36 million naira. That's a lot of money. And I should have paid more attention when they were teaching us literature in school. But I'm glad that you're joining us this morning. It's an honor. I know of some of your poems. We've studied some of them back in school. But here we are today celebrating literature and also getting rewarded. So $100,000. And we're sitting here and we're wondering, okay, what's going to happen? Starting with you, sir. Mr. Oke, the book that we're talking about is The Heresiad. What inspired that name, particularly for the book?
Well, Heresiad is my coinage from the word heresy. Now, I was looking at a situation where writers publish books and they are deemed heretical, whether in a secular or religious context. And then some of them are condemned to die or become exposed to all manner of harmful consequences just for writing books. And I thought something needed to be said and done about that situation. Well, by way of reconciling this idea of the hostility of ideas towards religious or secular institutions, new ideas. So I conceived the Heresiad as a conciliatory poem in that context. Well, I was virtually out of my teenage years when I did conceive the poem, and I started writing it in 1989. The first words I put into the work was, first lines were in 1989, last were in 2016. So altogether, wow. I spent like 27 years.
27 years putting the poem together.
Yeah,
wow.
working on it. So invariably, yeah, that is it. It's about it's a work that tries to make the world more peaceful. Create peace between the world of ideas and the world of faith. Okay.
Now we're going to come back to it being the context, it being an operatic poetry, like you said, operatic. Yeah. But before then, I want to talk to Mr. Ojaide, and of course, talking about the book that was shortlisted for this prize. So we're talking about Songs of Myself, and it's almost like poets usually write about other things. Never about themselves, it's about what they observe. So what inspired the title and, of course, you to write songs about yourself?
Yeah, Songs of Myself derives from the tradition of the Uje poetry. It's the oral poetic performance of the Robo people. And before you are an Obuile, that is a poet, you have to talk about yourself, sing about yourself, satirize yourself, before you go to others. So you have more credibility when you talk about yourself first, before you criticize others. Usually, we are more interested in criticizing others. But the persona of this collection tries to criticize himself, creates a persona that has his own faults, foibles, and then goes on to talk about society, politics, and other things. And basically what he's doing is that we should, the minstrel should purify himself first before trying to purify the larger society. It's an attempt to clean the society, make it a better place than we met it.
But is it also about just looking at yourself, looking inward and criticizing yourself, or are there praise songs like the Yoruba Oriki about yourself as well.
Okay. See, part of the songs of myself, you have to praise yourself, praise the God of poetry before others. See, but myself is really not strictly myself as Tanuri, but the person I create. And then, yes, in the process of talking about society, I praise those doing good, those doing bad, and I look at so many things. If, for instance, I'm from the Niger Delta, and we'll be criticizing multinational corporations, criticizing the federal government, I also try to look at ourselves. What have we, as these people, done to really protect our own environment, for instance? Have we not contributed to the environmental degradation? The money we've got from this, have we used it in a way to benefit the people? So these are things, and I talk about humanity. It's a big complex. Before you talk about society generally, humanity generally, you have to look at yourself too.
All right, so let me speak with Mr. Ifodo, the paradoxical title of A Good Morning. I'm wondering why you came up with that title and why it's relevant in today's world.
Taking together, A Good Morning tries to look at what I've described as the intimacy of evil, the banality of evil. But with specific reference to the title poem, A Good Morning, it's my reflections on the June 12 calamity that set this country back by incalculable years. We have been living under the scourge of military dictatorship for a long time, and then on June 12, 1993, we were poised to say, good morning, as a greeting of embracing a new day, good morning to a new Nigeria. And then by one mindless, act, one last gasp of the military, the will of the people was annulled after they had defied all the machinations of the military to prevent that saying of good morning to a new Nigeria. So what should have been a good morning was turned into mourning. I see that day as marking the social death of Nigeria, speaking in terms of our quest for self-governance as a social death. Death requires mourning for us to deal with it, learn from it, and learn lessons for the days ahead.
Well, I mean, we have very little time actually for this discussion, but I wanted to come back to Mr. Oke and the fact that organizations like NNNG and the Literature Prize are serving to encourage young people to also go into the field of literature and the arts, and not just going into music and trying to be famous and all of that. Why do you think this is relevant and important?
Well, if you look at how countries evolve culturally, and the kind of prestige great artists, particularly writers, attract to countries, then you will understand that what they're doing is very important. You see, look at England and what Shakespeare means to the whole world beyond the English world. Look at the United States and what Mark Twain means to the world beyond the United States. Look at Russia and what Tolstoy means to the world. Now, what could happen with this prize that someday we probably will discover a great literary talent, which becomes an institution, not just culturally, morally, as these other people are, but also economically. You could build an economy around the works of a great writer, and create employment. And so what I did is important, but we need patience. We also need to stimulate creativity as they are doing to be able to arrive at that possibility. I think it's something that could happen, but unless we keep giving it a chance, it probably will never happen. So beyond what we see that every year people are rewarded for, I think it's a project that could transform the way the world sees us by showing that we can produce capable writers who could potentially become phenomenal, not just in our national context, but beyond.
Yeah. So what's your take on this?
See, most many of our political leaders, in fact, the generality of Nigerian people tend to feel, oh, we need science and technology. They don't know what literature can do for a nation. See, the being developed is not a matter of tall buildings. The mind is very important. And what literature is doing, especially our poetry, we are trying to sensitize the people to have feelings to do things. And we are trying to make the world better by bringing into national discourse the problems we have. See, we change first in the mind before putting into practice. And I feel literature, especially poetry, performs that duty to make us more disciplined human beings than just say we are going to science and technology without this. In fact, with the poetry, you can be a better scientist, a better technologist. If you look at the case of someone like Goethe, he was both a poet and a scientist. Yeah. Most of the great scientists have also been poets or literary figures. Yeah. So we start with the mind before other things. Yeah.
So, Mr. Ford, I mean, this is $100,000. That's a lot of money. And I can see you smiling.
We're back to that,
right? So at the end of the day, does this encourage people to go into literature? I mean, if I'm thinking about, I know that shouldn't be the first thing I'm thinking about when I'm writing, but will it encourage people to see this as something worthwhile, to get rewarded with as much as $100,000 for your works?
Well, naturally it will. Just by the sheer volume of books that was entered for this prize, 184 of them, out of which a long list of 11 came out, and then finally 3. But I have to say that even before the NLNG prize came along, there have been prizes in Nigeria, and they had always had a deluge of entries. Yeah. You know, the old Association of Nigerian Authors prizes for the drama, poetry, fiction. They have always had lots of submissions. I think writers, artists, all who feel they have a gift always feel an inner urge to express themselves. And whatever adulation comes after, whatever validation comes after is secondary. No writer, no serious writer I know from antiquity to now sets out to write with the expectation of a prize.
Thank you so much. You guys, I mean, you're sitting here with me. I mean, you guys are prolific writers. So this is not like you just came out with this book and then it was nominated. You've been writing for years, and we're really, really happy to have you here. And I'm sure that people who are watching and they're getting inspired, and you know, they probably want to go into writing, and hopefully sometime in the near future they'll be shortlisted for a prize as big as this. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
I think you're working on a collection already, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
For the next cycle of it.
I will go and dust up some of the ones I've written.
But it shouldn't be for the prize. You should write because you love writing.
Exactly.
For the joy of
part
it.
of your life.
Well, I was writing for the joy of it, but I wasn't getting any.
Well, that's the incentive here.
Well, if you don't write for the joy.
But the joy will give you better poetry, I think, than looking for money.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
All right, so Mike is with Sophia and PU, and they are ready to give us a performance after this commercial break.
Sophia and PU are the anointed duo that have continuously stirred the hearts of people throughout the world with their great songs. Now we have them here and they're going to give us a wonderful performance. I can't wait. I'll talk to you guys after, but then let's get the performance. All right. So you go.
Thank you.
What if I told you your prayers have been answered? What if I told you it's your season of miracles? What if I told you there's no need to worry? No, 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 no. What if I told you you were born to win? You will shine through it all as you stand on His word in victory. We keep marching on. Once you have Jesus, you have it all. No height, no depth can take you from His love. Doors are open.
if I told you you were not a failure? I came to tell you you were born for this. I came to tell you God's hand is mighty on your life. Oh, shine through it all as you stand on His word in victory. We keep marching on. Once you have Jesus, you have it all. No height, no depth can take you from His love. Doors are open unto you. No impossibilities. You were born. You were born to fly. Once you have Jesus, you have it all. No height, no depth can take you from His love. Doors are open unto you. No impossibilities. No, 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 no. You were born. You were born to fly. You were born to fly. Come on. Come on. We are flying. Soaring like an eagle. Nothing can stop us. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Once you have Jesus, you have it all. No height, no depth can take you from His love. Doors are open unto you. No impossibilities. You were born. Yes, yes, you are. You were born to
Okay. Now I goosebumps on my body. I can actually literally feel the goosebumps. That's wonderful. Now I have to comment about that video. Now there's a rhetoric that gospel artists don't put in so much in their videos, but then this is an exception. That video was wonderful. Can you take the costumes were lovely, by the way.
Thank
Can
you.
take us through the process? So what was the idea behind you when you wanted to shoot that video?
Well, the song came out some months before we decided to shoot the video. We were not planning to shoot the video, all right?
Wow.
But somehow we were prompted, all right,
Okay.
to shoot the video. And we had little time to get it done, but we knew what we wanted, all right?
Okay.
We wanted to do something different. We wanted to communicate the exact meaning of what the song says. Once you have Jesus, you have it
You
all.
have it all.
Yeah, so the costumes, the concept, everything had to reflect that when you have Jesus, you actually do have it all.
Wow.
All right, so that's how the whole thing came about,
together.
and she had a lot to do with it.
And no. We both had a lot to do with it. We wanted to use symbols that represented everything that people wanted. We wanted to use symbols like happiness. You know, when someone just is successful with education, when you have, we used his parents-in-law. They were little people.
Okay.
You know, old people in marriage, you know, it's
Yeah.
something that's successful. And once you have Jesus, you have that. So we wanted people to know that
Okay.
once you have Jesus, you can have everything. So
Wow, thank you.
that's
I
what
wish
it is.
I'm looking forward to having you guys some other time, and we'll have enough time to talk. But this
Oh,
was lovely.
problem.
I can still feel the bombs, right? Thank you very much, PU and
so much,
Sophia.
Mike.
Now we head over to the kitchen. Let's go and learn the art of making oven baked moi moi.
Don't worry, you haven't missed much. So far, so good. Chef Tabi has been busy preparing the batter. We can call this one batter because it's going into the oven. And she's put, well, let me let her do the talking.
All right, so in here already, we have the egg, we have the fish, we have the seasoning cubes, salt, onions, oil. So everything is just in there already. This is what your batter is going to look like. It shouldn't be too loose. So, and we'll just pour it in a casserole dish.
Okay. This
Now,
one is
please,
casserole moi moi.
before you put it in your casserole dish, make sure you grease it very properly. Make
With
sure you
oil?
grease the casserole dish.
Not
yes.
butter or anything,
No,
just
no,
oil.
with oil.
Okay.
You understand? And in case you want the moi moi flavor, as in the leaf flavor of moi moi.
I was going to ask you that.
All right.
What
If
do
you
we
don't
do?
know how to wrap, once you just get your leaf, make sure you line the casserole dish with the leaf. That's the moi moi leaf.
Okay.
Pour your batter on it and cover it with the leaf and just put it in your oven.
If
So-
you know how to wrap, can you wrap and put it in this?
Yes, you just steam in the casserole dish.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So this is ready now to go into
The
the oven.
oven.
Please,
Okay.
oven.
Here we go. Aha.
Down.
Straight into the oven. So we're having oven baked moi moi with custard that has chocolate drippings in it. Okay, so now we're going to make the custard. So just watch. So far, so good. The ingredients we've used: beans, we've had fish, we've had chili, we've had seasoning cubes, of course. We've also had salt. We've had the beans, of course, already ground, as well as oil. Okay, so right now
to the
she's making the custard.
All right.
If you've never made custard, you can learn now. Is custard making like ogi, really?
Yes, just the same way you make your ogi.
Is there any difference?
It's flavored.
Flavored.
Yes.
That's the only difference.
It's flavored, it's colored, you understand? And the consistency is kind of different than the ogi. Yes. Please, can I have water?
Okay. So really, this custard is like glorified ogi,
Sort of.
sort of.
Lighter.
Chai.
Lighter.
What are you doing on the other side? I see chocolate, I see milk.
All right. I'm trying to melt my chocolate chips that I'm going to
Okay.
drizzle on the custard when it's ready.
This is what it looks like. It was originally milk on one side and chocolate on the other side. Obviously, the chocolate is melting.
Melting.
Okay. So
All right.
now she's going to make the custard. Let's see if we can get this going.
Yeah, the water is boiling, and we'll just make sure we turn the powdered custard into liquid
Very
with
well.
cold water.
It's very important. Okay. So it's oven baked moi moi for us today with custard. But it's not your regular custard. This one is going to have chocolate chips in
Melted.
it. No, melted chocolate chips though.
yeah.
All right. Okay, so you are watching Wake Up Nigeria, and we will be right back.